Welcome to Balanced Care Conversations with Equilibrio Home Health, the podcast that bridges the gap between innovative healthcare technology and compassionate home care. In each episode, we dive deep into the transformative world of healthcare solutions, exploring everything from physical therapy to the latest developments in skilled home healthcare. Join us as we engage with industry experts, healthcare professionals, and technology pioneers who are reshaping the future of home-based care. Whether you're a healthcare provider, caregiver, or someone passionate about advancing healthcare solutions, this podcast delivers valuable insights, practical strategies, and inspiring discussions that help create more balanced, effective care environments. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast platform to stay at the forefront of healthcare innovation.
Hi, I just wanted to welcome everybody to our Equilibrio Balanced podcast series. We are here today with a very great member of one of the software technology teams that we do a lot of networking with to improve our services as a skilled home health company. And the company's name is Home Health Notify. They're based out of Michigan. And the company's representative that we're with today, we're extremely happy to have her because she helped get our team and all of our clinicians up running on this technological application that we're using to communicate better and improve our way of communicating. Her name is Zilley. She is one of the reps with Home Health Notify. So she is with us today to kind of delve into how this application really streamlines communication with skilled home healthcare professionals and allows us to keep organized, HIPAA compliant conversations with patients in a more professional and organized manner in an application that makes sense. So Megan, I'm going to turn it over to you. It's great to have you today. And I know it's been a busy day already, so we appreciate your time being here for the next 30 to 45 minutes with us to go through some questions and things that really highlight your services that you guys have to offer.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the intro. I'm excited to be a part of your podcast. Equilibrio does great things, and so I'm excited to join you today.
Awesome. I just wanted to ask you, who is the owner of Home Health Notify? You're a representative that works with the company, and you do a great job from promoting it to help training clinicians from every agency that uses Home Health Notify, because half the battle with using a new application that promotes increased communication and streamlining getting patients on schedules and creating accountability when it comes to what we do in skilled home health.
Sure.
We want to get to know the owner a little bit, who that is, and really the origins of the company. So if you can give us a little background on, maybe your story getting involved with the company, but more or less the owners and what helped promote them to get this going, that may identify with where we've come from as a company as well.
Yeah, for sure. So we are owned by, our CEO his name is Salim. He also owns Tone Home Health Services here in the Metro Detroit area. And so Tone this is actually their 20th year anniversary. They're doing like a big party and big thing about it. I mean, 20 years in home health is huge. That's great. So congrats to Tone. But Salim and his team, around 2017, I would say, Tone was experiencing growth, and with that comes a lot of growing pains, as I'm sure you're experiencing with Equilibrio. And that was communication. He felt like, their phone lines in the office were always off the hook. They had like 10 to 15 phone lines at the time. And so, around 2017, they just started thinking of communication as being like, this could be better. This could be better. They tried the different platforms out there for home health agencies, which essentially, just to say they're a HIPAA compliant iMessage, essentially. And so Salim and his team were like, there's got to be something that's more catered to home health. Like, we can't be the only ones experiencing this. There's got to be a better app out there. And so, Salim and his team, they are very passionate about home health. And so they took it upon themselves to create Home Health Notify. I don't know who has the time and energy to do that. I certainly would just be like, someone's going to create it themselves. But Salim is a visionary, and his team, they're all passionate. And so they started creating Home Health Notify. I came up with the idea of it back then and took it to market because they realized, you know what, we're not just solving a problem for Tone Home Health. This isn't just a Tone problem. This is an industry solution. And so Home Health Notify has been in the market now for around like 5-6 years. And so, yeah, to explain how the team kind of came together. So Salim and his team at Tone, they obviously came up with like the certain features they want. He talked to the the DONs of the group, the clinicians, asked them all in a survey, what would you want in a communication tool? What are features that would make your lives easier? The office manager, the admin, kind of all the key players in home health. He got some ideas from them, and that's how Home Health Notify came together. The CTO, the tech brain behind it all, his name is Murtaza. He is actually cousins with Salim, and he has an extensive, very great background in tech, and he helped build it along with another, product team. And then where I come into play, so back in 2022, I was in a different role as a medical sales rep, and Tone Home Health Services was one of my top accounts. And one day Salim and his team just kind of pulled me aside. They're like, hey, we want to show you something that we're working on and kind of see your thoughts. And I was like, okay, I'm familiar enough with home health to understand what Home Health Notify was at the time. And then they're like, you know what? And we're selling this app now, and we kind of want you to be a part of it. And so, that's a great compliment, I think, if they recognize you as a good sales rep to them and taking care of them. And so then I joined their team in 2022. So it's almost been 4 years that I've been with Home Health Notify.
Wow. 4 years. And look, just in 4 years, Megan, you guys have grown tremendously just with Home Health Notify, because I don't know how many companies. We're one of many skilled home health companies that, partner with you and Home Health Notify, but I'm sure there's countless others, right? So across the country, you guys are, pretty much, provide services to any skilled home health company across the lower 50, the lower 48, or any states such as Hawaii and Alaska. I don't know how many companies you guys have, but I would assume. Does your app go?
Yeah, I love that you asked that. This is one of my favorite fun things of Home Health Notify is, so yeah, of course we're in all over the U.S. I think right now we're in around 22 states, which obviously the more Medicare heavy, the more populated states being Florida, California, Texas, Michigan. We're very loaded with agencies in those states. But we also have agencies in Alaska and Guam, funny enough. So Guam, shout out to the health system.
I knew Alaska. I knew you'd have one out there. That's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
So it truly is an app, a technological advanced application that really benefits skilled home healthcare professionals such as us. And as you know, their skilled home healthcare it's a worldwide, service in the healthcare industry, not only in the United States, like you said, but it could be overseas, but even in Alaska and Guam. And I'm sure that his brand with Home Health Notify could even go to other countries across the world. I think I've seen a few other similar apps that we were looking to develop one similar when we first started this our home health business, which is Equilibrio Home Health, and we just decided it was too hard to do the skilled home health part with getting that going. And then we had some mock-ups and a blueprint for an app that was in the works, but the cost to get that done was going to be astronomical at the time. It was about in 2016, 17, and we were looking at $50,000, $75,000 startup cost. And after putting so much money into our business to get the skilled home health part going, it really was hard to wrap my head around spending that additional money at that time. So I'm glad that Salim and the CTO, Mirza, was able to come up with the version that we have now, because it's a really good version. It allows so much user compliance and really creates accountability. I think that's the biggest thing. Accountability that is in a fun and easy to handle way that's similar to just keeping up with text messages with friends, family, except this we're really communicating with our family of working healthcare professionals. And I look at it as we have our families at home, we've got our friends in the community, but when we're working in our business in skilled home healthcare, we have our friends and close business associates who are like family to us. And we want to communicate with them regarding the family members that we're taking care of and the patients that we help, because they're an extension of our families in a way as well. They're patients of ours and trust us every day with their healthcare issues to help them. And just before I got on this podcast, I had to go, through helping a family member out with a potential hospice situation, which sometimes happens with home health. You've got to transition patients to hospice, but I didn't get that notification actually, until like I pulled up, and I got it through Home Health Notify. So I got it through the system that we're talking about now. And if it wasn't for Home Health Notify, I probably wouldn't have got it as quickly to get on a call to make sure we're on the same page. So I just want to say thank you for really training and helping to get us on this application, which is really a game changer for our company, big time, as we're growing past 120 patient census and higher. So,
oh, thank you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate your help.
you saying like the real time, being able to see that, and take care of it in real time. That is one of the biggest things we stress is like real time
Yeah.
communication is real time care, and that's the only kind of care you should have when it comes to home health. Nothing's good when it's delayed. Real time is just the way to be when it comes to patient care.
You got it. Real time is great. And we're moving into that realm with artificial intelligence and the scribing that we're using to document our notes. So I think that it's going to be easier and easier for healthcare professionals such as myself and everyone that works in our industry to just focus on the patients and their families, use our knowledge and ability to truly help them, and then using the technology to kind of speed up what we do, or this decision-making process, or even communication, and also cutting down on errors, cutting down on mistakes. I really think we're getting to a point where it's going to be hard to make some mistakes if you're following certain prompts and you're following certain protocols. And that leads me into the second part of this, the technology and innovation with Home Health Notify. Mm-hmm. So a lot of our listeners that follow us, Megan, on with our Equilibrio Balance podcast series may not be familiar with how the technology really works. Can you give a little description? I've already talked about how I got an update on a patient that may need hospice care and was able to respond quickly to some family questions along with their physician. But for our listeners that aren't familiar with this, give us a little breakdown of some of the key features and just in the next few minutes, how it really does make a difference for what we do in skilled home health.
Yeah.
In layman's terms.
Yes. That's like the only terms I have. I'm not the tech person, but
yeah.
No, but
yeah.
It's basically a simplified way to communicate. Well, HIPAA compliant, first off, that's huge, obviously, in patient care. But it's a chat app that was built for home health specifically. So all of the features, just even the way you navigate the app, it was built with the total knowledge of what it's like to be in home health, and it's relatable to all the different players you have. You have your DON, you have your office manager, the owner, someone like you, your clinicians. It all just makes sense and makes things leaner for them. That was a huge thing. We wanted to make sure to streamline the processes, streamline your communication, of course, but just make things as lean as possible. That was one of the things Salim noticed with his team is, okay, I have my intake person on the phone trying to handle something that's a scheduling thing. And then I have my DON on the phone trying to help something with scheduling. Like just everyone wearing all these different hats, of course, but getting caught up in things that don't actually pertain to them. And so Home Health Notify, it keeps things, communication and everything just very lean. Like you're only going to see what really pertains to you. Yes, you can see the full conversation and everything, but it's going to have everything broken down to, hey, this is where we go and talk about this patient. Each patient will have a group chat about them. That's where everyone goes and talks about them. Then we have our, hey, this is about a patient specifically. This is where we're talking about maybe the billing side of things, or just our internal group chats of our office staff. Maybe just a one-on-one chat, maybe a broadcast announcement type of communication. We just have it very catered to the skilled home health industry.
Yes, it is. That's what I love about Home Health Notify. And when we got started with you, you gave a good breakdown one-on-one with our rehab director, Jess, or other clinicians. Even Tanya, our HR manager, got involved in the process. And then there's a YouTube video that you guys also utilize with you and your lovely way of conveying how to go to this area, go exactly to this icon on the screen, and you touch this to get there, to get to see your patient census, to get to private group chats that you might have. So I love the fact that it is, once you, just like any application, you really need to just get into it and play around and then just start using it. And I always say to our students, they're great. Like when they start documenting OASIS, which is a really big and burly documentation set for doing a new start of care, which is a patient that we just get right out of the hospital or from the community. I always say, just start answering questions the best you can, and then I'll guide you the rest of the way. Because I think the best way to learn is just jump in and start using it, start clicking on some areas, start sending some information, things that you're not sure about. That's where you come in. You can say, hey, I'll show you how you can make that a shortcut, or maybe do what you're wanting to do a little easier. And you've really done that with our team. You've made it so easy to use the app and allow our HR manager and our rehab director to get our patient census in there, create the threads, like the separate group chats for clinicians versus the marketing team. Maybe the nursing team and therapy team have their own separate ones. And in getting people to understand, this is what we were doing previously in a really chaotic way through just a lot of group text messages. It was group text, and up to close to when we were just under 100 patients, it was getting really chaotic with so many group texts. And to be honest, we're trying to be HIPAA compliant, and just using initials. And we it's just hard to maintain that, especially as you grow. So this really takes the pressure off. It makes us sleep well at night, knowing that we are taking care of our patients. We can be more descriptive in the Home Health Notify app and not have to worry about HIPAA compliance, because that's what it's there for. We can send pictures of patients' wounds and pictures or video of how they're progressing with therapy, and even patients and their family members. We can allow them to get access to a section to look at, create a separate thread for them to talk to us. So it's really cool the way you guys. So it's a really compliment to Salim and the rest of his team, the vision they had. But it took them being a home healthcare professional like myself to know how to do it. Like that's what I appreciate though. I appreciate that though, because I was in that same mindset when we started our business. Just I'm glad I didn't finish it out, because we would have spent more money and it probably would have never been to the extent that Home Health Notify is today. So I let the pros work on that. So that's good.
Well, and you can have a separate conversation with him about the cost of things. He was like, you want to add all these things, but you don't realize everything costs something. Like the initial startup fee that you were mentioning. Yeah, he knows all about that.
Yes. I'm sure it's quite astronomical. It's really high. Another question I had for you, Megan, is how do you ensure the platform stays up to date with the latest healthcare technologies and regulatory requirements? Is there like an accrediting body that Home Health Notify has to go abide by, since you're having ACHC Medicare accredited companies, or sometimes CHAP Medicare accredited companies using the Home Health Notify? So we know it's HIPAA compliant. We see it's very efficient, it's safe. But is there guidelines that Salim and the ownership group, even the CTO, had to go by? And did they have to vet that with a certain accrediting body? And what are the regulatory requirements every year or few years for that?
Oh, great question. So of course, HIPAA compliance is our main thing that we just have to maintain. Is, hey, everything needs to be fully encrypted, secured, and all the guidelines that come with being HIPAA compliant. Of course, we abide by those. That's what we keep up with. Everything else, I guess, is just kind of extra. So, keeping up with the regulatory requirements, or just any kind of feature we can add to help with those things that get thrown at home health agencies every year. For example, we have a LUPA threshold calendar model in our app. So it's like when things like, hey, there's a thing called LUPA now, when things like that get thrown your way, what we can do to help is create a feature that makes it easier or more visible to you guys. So I would say really too, going back to the fact that we're owned by a home health agency, we care and are keeping up with things just as much as you guys are as our customers, because Salim's running Tone and he wants to make sure that they're keeping up with things and checking all their boxes. And so of course his product, Home Health Notify, is going to do the same thing. So we're keeping up with things just as you guys are, for sure.
Definitely. And I like the fact that you mentioned the LUPA thresholds. For the listening audience that's not familiar with that fancy term, it stands for low utilization penalty assessment, or it's like it's really like a fine or a decrease in payment from what Medicare would pay over the first 30 days and the bucket payment we do get, because they're expecting at least 4 or 5 visits to occur in the first 30 days. So if we are only at 2 or 3 visits, and like Megan says, the app picks up that we're in week 3 going into week 4, but we've only done 2 or 3 visits, there's an alert. And there's also an alert in our EMR system that we use, which is Access. But I like the fact that the Home Health Notify app kind of prompts you to take a peek at that, or maybe it was an error. We had to correct the scheduling, so it's just another way that Home Health Notify really goes above and beyond with the regulatory compliance of making sure that we don't have a lot of LUPAs. If we do have some LUPAs we can't avoid, which is that low utilization penalty assessment for patients that only have 2 or 3 visits in the first 30 days of an episode. Examples when patients maybe come to us for 2 visits, but then they go back to the hospital, and then we never can see them again because they transition to hospice or just like out of the state. Sometimes they may request an early discharge because they got what they needed. There's just no further needs after 3 or 4 visits. So it really depends on the patient situation, but it's okay to have them naturally. But you guys do a good job of making sure that we're scheduling properly to avoid them. So we keep up with the schedule.
Yes.
That's a huge thing to mention for that, though. So as far as the impact and reach, how widespread is Home Health Notify? I know you mentioned you're in Alaska and other home health companies. We're in Virginia, the state of Virginia. So specifically, we cover the South Side region for Virginia Beach counties of Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, and Suffolk. So 5 counties in the southeastern Virginia area. We are looking to expand to Williamsburg and Richmond, and possibly even Alexandria, Northern Virginia, and maybe other states down the road. But what other states are you guys in? Just, you don't have to name all of them, obviously, but I'm curious to know how wide Home Health Notify does spread out, and then around about how many companies are using it. And you don't have to answer these questions if you don't want to, but I just think our listener probably wants to know how widespread it is.
We're in around 22 states. So you being in Virginia is like kind of a sneaky little hotspot for home health, actually. We have quite a few customers in Virginia, and I will say, hopefully like none of my other customers are listening to this, but the Virginia agencies are strong. Like, you guys just get it. There's I don't know, when I did the demo with, I can think of 3 customers in Virginia off the top of my head right now, that when I did the demo with them, Equilibrio being one, they just understood it. They're like, yep, this is what we need. This is the tool. Like, that we're already doing this some way, somehow, but it's, like you said, more chaotic, messier, and this is what we need. And so I really value my Virginia people. You guys are just solid. And then, obviously Michigan being our home state where we're based out of, that's where we rolled it out to first and hardest at first. So there's a ton of agencies in Metro Detroit and just throughout Michigan that use Home Health Notify, of course. And then, like the more Medicare heavy states, you're going to have Florida, Texas, California, and just kind of a mixed bag throughout the country, definitely. So,
I think that's it's a testament to how good you guys do with training or getting the onboarding process for Home Health Notify up and running. But in the state of Virginia, there's a lot of competition in the state for really good skilled home health care. And if you're not really good at what you do and you make it easy for the patients and families to get what they need and to just really help them at the highest level, you're not going to succeed. You're just not. And it's like there are a lot of companies in the state of Virginia, and in our region, I think there's over 300 and some odd skilled home health companies in the Hampton Roads area, but we're one of the top tier of the skilled home health companies that is in that upper echelon that is, operating at a high level. And some of them are not even viable, but I was really interested in, it was really interesting fact when I learned through the Chamber of Commerce that there's over 300 skilled home health agencies, and these are licensed. Like they got their Medicare license. Some are not viable. They got their license, but they're not doing anything with it, or they did and they figured that it was too competitive, or they think it was trying to get the referral base they need to succeed. But I want to highlight the fact that we're using Home Health Notify. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. and this is a testament to you and the rest of the team with Home Health Notify, it makes our brand even more reputable, or even more, gives us that added advantage, the X factor, because of the great communication. So we promote, when we do marketing and promote our services, we say we are a technologically advanced company using state-of-the-art app to communicate with all healthcare professionals, making sure everyone's accountable for going out and doing their reassessments at the right time, or following up on wounds or orders. And when we mention that to some physicians and doctors at referral sources, they are like, wow, let me see this app. And we show them the icon and go into just basically the little subheadings with patients, and then the group threads that we have. And we've gotten, I would say, a handful of Medicare referrals, and even private insurance ones that we can start helping, just based on the fact that we have this app that is very streamlined and organized, and other companies in this area don't use it, and it really takes a buy-in with your team to use it. It does, and I'm not going to lie, it's there was some hiccups in the beginning, but I think whenever things like that happen, you just need to stay the course and keep reiterating. Once we get used to using this, it may seem like more work now, but trust me, when we get to 150 or 200 patients, you're going to say, oh my God, I can't believe we actually entertained not using something like this, and then communicating through just phone calls all the time, or text messages, and then referring to the Access EMR chart with getting communication notes, which is fine. We can still do all that stuff, but this is the same thing as texting, except it's in a hidden HIPAA compliant app. So I just tell all clinicians that are hesitant, you're already doing this. You're doing it. And if you're not doing it, I tell our HR manager, we probably don't want that person working with our company, because they're just not communicating at a high level. And we have to communicate well as a company and as healthcare professionals. You can't work in this industry without being a great communicator. Nope. And I think without having a passion for wanting to communicate things clearly and concisely. We can always improve. No one's perfect, but this app has done an amazing job with that, though. So
I love everything.
More kudos to you.
You just said a whole lot right there, but there are so many things I want to point out. So you mentioned being able to grow and kind of maintaining your team as is. That is one of the things that I'm bragging about Zilley and Tone again. But when they started using the app fully in their team, they were able to triple their census and not hire anyone additional on their team, because they had it. Everything was more lean, and just being able to maintain their jobs and manage the communication, everything within Home Health Notify gave them that. So you can grow your census like crazy, but not have to necessarily expand your overhead. And I thought that was a really cool thing to know about Home Health Notify. You can grow it, but not necessarily have to grow your costs and things like that. Your team can handle more with Notify. And then you mentioned the marketing to physicians. Well, first off, shout out to Tara, your all-star marketer that I know I've had. But that is one too. Some people think physicians don't want to be bothered with another app. They don't care what we're doing, this and that. Of course they do. They love seeing that. And to people like your marketers being in the know and being able to show hey, when they're at a referral source, hey, this is your patient you referred to us. Here's what their wound looked like 2 weeks ago. Here's what it looked like now. Because they have the app on their phone, they're going to pull it up. I think that goes a long way, just branding wise, patient care wise, of your team, showing hey, everyone knows what's going on. They're in good hands. Everyone's fully coordinated. That goes a long way with your marketing side too. A lot of people think do we need our marketers on this? What do they need to know about it? And on LinkedIn, actually, Tara gave a great testimony of why marketers should be on the app and what it looks like for her and the benefits that she gets. That. So exactly everything you said was spot on. I love that.
With some of the feedback that you received, Megan, from, I know Tara and our clinicians have given you great feedback, but from other companies, is there any feedback you received from clinicians, caregivers, or patients about the platform that you think is worthy of sharing to make a difference in their healthcare outcomes with this application? I just shared one reason why I was on a little late, because I had to help answer questions about a patient maybe transitioning to hospice. So I do apologize about that. But like I said, it's a way that I was able to get information to somebody quicker, more efficiently because of this app. So any other ones that you might have?
Oh yeah. So I would say everyone just says it simplifies things for them. There's a lot of things that you think should be known in home health or in patient care that people see and they know, but you'd be surprised. And so things like like where we've made a difference, some customer stories, I could tell a million, but one that comes off the top of my head is with our RPM. So we offer remote patient monitoring devices. You guys don't have any from us yet, but you guys can rent, like for your CHF patients, we have weighing scales that you can rent from us. We also have blood pressure monitors that you can rent. And how that works is there's a code on the back of the device and you would scan it. It would be synced to that group chat that's about that patient. So anytime they take a reading, the vitals will populate. And so, I mean, I could talk all day about the RPM thing, but a story that comes to mind is there was a patient that was taking their blood pressure every so often, and they noticed that it was super elevated. And so the nurse, of course, was assessing things, looking at their medications, and sent some pictures of the medications at the patient's house, like showed, here's what they're taking, blah, blah, blah. And they happened to have a physician on that patient's group chat, and they happened to be checking it on a Saturday. And the app said, why are they still taking this medication or whatever? I told them to stop taking that one or something. And so there was a miscommunication of what the patient heard from the physician and was still taking a medication, nothing that, the care team did wrong. And so it was just simple things like that might go missed. And so they were able to just, reconcile the meds and get the patient's numbers to a good range and get that all sorted out, all through Home Health Notify. So that's another example of the physician being on, the impact that can have, but also just you guys having real-time data is huge, which I can talk to. I know your ears kind of perked up when I said remote patient monitoring, so we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, we got to talk more about that. In fact, maybe we'll have a follow-up podcast more geared towards the remote patient monitoring through Home Health Notify or like as an add-on, because that is something our company is looking to add on and get more remote patient monitoring, whether it's for CHF patients or blood pressure monitoring, that we could seamlessly get involved into the home. That's not going to increase a lot of the bottom line, but really pay dividends with monitoring patient, vital signs being out of parameters or CHF exacerbation. So that's a good example of how the landscape of home health is really changing. Over the years, as we're getting more technology, especially with artificial intelligence, giving us better feedback quicker to make decisions. And that goes right in line with the home health, monitoring system or the remote monitoring, how to assess the metrics and the data that we're getting to make better decisions quicker and to let doctors know this is a trend or this is what we've gotten over the weekend when we weren't there. So on Monday, we may want to send them to the hospital or have them follow up with you for an urgent visit. So that's a great way how the platform is continuing to change with Home Health Notify, but using remote patient monitoring, which is what we do in skilled home health. The future of home health technology. Are there any other innovations? I mentioned you mentioned the remote patient monitoring, but is there any other innovations that you're excited about, or that Salim and the ownership of Home Health Notify is excited about? Just like what's on the cusp with our, any AI trends or things that can help Home Health Notify with some of the remote patient monitoring stuff that you use.
Yeah. So, I mean, the hottest buzzword in every industry right now is obviously AI. So, of course, there's going to be in home health in general, automation for tasks that are repetitive, right? You kind of touched on it earlier about how everything is going to be more, less errors and stuff because of AI. And so we, of course, are adding in some AI things here and there, some that you already have seen throughout Home Health Notify. We do have like a big, I'm not the tech person, so it sounds silly when I talk about it sometimes, but we do have a big rebuild, like an upgrade of Home Health Notify being released soon, where on our end, on the back end, so it's called a, oh my gosh, what is it called? It's called Hold on.
maybe you're getting an update to the app, so we're probably gonna
So it
it's gonna
reactivated
get
built system.
yeah.
So now when they have to make changes or update anything, it will be like a one-stop shop. They don't have to do it for the different types of devices like iOS, Android, and all that. It's just one system. And so with that release, it's going to be a fully upgraded system. You guys will notice it on your end, of course, as the user. The interface is going to look a little different, a little prettier, some good features being added in. I'm really excited about this. And of course, we're going to be adding in some AI things of like referral summary. We have some predictive analysis stuff that we're going to be working on, and a lot of things coming up. I don't know how much I can talk about. I feel like that's
I understand. There's you got to keep some things close to the vest because when that new app gets launched or the updated app for Home Health Notify, it'll have some of those cool features which we can then find out how to use. And it's just like we opening a new present, whether it's around Christmas or birthday. You already have the present, which is Home Health Notify, but you get to reopen it whenever they update it with these new changes and make it more efficient. So we can't wait for that. We are working with a few technology companies, Novus. One of them is Modus Nova, which is for AI bracing for contractures. That they have an app where it kind of gives real-time feedback for contractures to a wrist and hand or the ankle to try to improve the range of motion for patients with stroke or maybe other neurological disorders. So we're starting to partner doing some work with them, and then also a mat that can be put in patients' homes to alert us to pressure changes or their mobility patterns of patients walking in the home of hotspots where they could fall or where they have fallen, and we can see where they're frequenting the most. So that is an example of remote patient monitoring through different ways other than what you're talking about through like blood pressure and the vital signs and stuff like that. So our company is and we're looking to incorporate that into our business model with possibly white labeling and being able to partner with the company that is creating that mat system to detect pressure changes. So maybe we can always talk more about those things with you and your group. And I always say get a bunch of really smart people in the room to talk about stuff, and then great things happen. So as we get to the end of this really great podcast with Megan Zilley with Home Health Notify as an amazing app to really streamline the future of healthcare communication as it pertains to skilled home healthcare. What do you think is going to be the biggest way that Home Health Notify can really continue to separate itself from other people that are trying to do similar things in your mind? Like, I think that you hit on it with maybe some of the stuff that they're going to launch with the new updated app and the remote patient monitoring. But there are other companies that are trying to do this. I think it's the best one out there, mainly because you guys make it easy to use. And it just feels like it makes sense. There's other ones where it's supposed to do the same thing, and it probably does, but you have to go through so many convoluted ways to do what you want. And this really just, like I said, it just does it. So
I feel like a lot of the upcoming products out there, a lot of it's AI. They're doing a lot of the same AI stuff. And so we kind of as a team were saying, like in an era where everything's becoming AI this, AI that, and documentation is going to be AI, we're like, communication's not going anywhere. So we know that we have confident in where we are right now and where we're going to be going, because regardless of any AI that you have, I mean, your team still needs to talk, especially when it comes to patient care. Communication's not going anywhere. So we do feel good in our tool being a communication tool.
Great. Yeah, I think that you guys are definitely separating yourself from other brands that are the communication tools because of all the features that make it easy through videos or pictures that can be added in and all their cool stuff. So in closing, I just wanted to allow our audience that follows and listens to our Equilibrio Balance podcast series know where they can get, if they are in the healthcare industry, such as skilled home healthcare or thinking about opening a skilled home health agency, where can they get information regarding Home Health Notify to get in touch with your team and try to help them get what they need?
Yeah, so you guys can go to our website at homehealthnotify.com. You can email me directly, Megan at MEGAN, Megan at homehealthnotify.com. And our number also is 248-901-9373. Feel free to reach out to us. You can call us, email us. We'd be happy to do a demo and show you what we can do.
Great. And a closing impact question I have for you based on that info, because people are going to want to go to the website and get your help for this, is for any companies that don't currently have this in place. And I'm the biggest proponent, obviously, with this podcast. We're doing it because it's made, a game changer for our company with increasing our census and decreasing stress. What would you say to one thing or two things to a company that's not using this right now? Of not saying it's a sales pitch, but your honest reason why they need to adopt the technology that allows them to communicate better with either this application or other ones, but just to improve the HIPAA compliance and streamlined effect that Home Health Notify. What is the biggest thing you could give to anybody that's not using it right now? And I think that's a good way to probably close this out.
Okay. I would say as an agency, the worst thing, especially in today's day and age, the worst thing you could say is this is how we've always done things. You have to be willing to adapt and just try those new tools out and see what it can do. So boom, I think that's it.
You can't always say this is how we've always done things. I agree. It's you have to be open to change and adapt. And I say if we're not evolving and changing every day and refining ourselves, then we're stagnating. And really, if you're stagnating, you're decaying. It's a slow slow process to the inevitable, and which is not growing anymore. So, but if you're, pushing yourself and adapting, you're definitely going to grow as a person and even as a company. And we're thankful to be using this app through your help. And it wouldn't be possible if I hadn't met owner from a conference I was at last year in Dallas, Texas, which I'll be at again this year in May, early May. I want to thank one of the owners that reached out to me about it. And I hope I'm one of those people now going back to that conference this early May for access to promote this app and show people on my phone, hey, check it out. This is how well it works. And if I do, I will definitely send you people that are interested. I'll give you their names and numbers. And, maybe in the future, tell Tara we can, treat us to a cup of coffee or something. So whatever.
Yeah, I can see these 300 agencies you told me about. I'm about to book my flight. So
better come. There's a lot of agencies. Yeah, some of them are not viable, but there's a lot of good ones that you can probably improve the way they do what we do. So
awesome. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for being on this podcast with us today. And they appreciate you being here. So with that being said, Megan, we'll do this again, maybe talk more about the remote patient monitoring aspect as it pertains to Home Health Notify. And for our listeners, followers, we appreciate you tuning in to hear what Megan had to say today. I know it's been great. And you can always get information through Equilibrio at www.equilibriohh.com and reach us online through social media. And we look forward to the next episode. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thanks again for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Balanced Care Conversations with Equilibrio Home Health. If you found value in today's discussion, be sure to catch our next episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. For more innovative healthcare insights, detailed resources, and the latest in skilled home healthcare technology, visit us at equilibriohh.com. Until next time, keep striving for balanced, innovative care solutions that make a difference. Remember, the future of healthcare starts at